Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm George. This is Malaka MotorSports. Welcome back. Thank you guys again for the support and watching. If you haven't already, hit that like and hit that subscribe button. It really does help click off the algorithm for this channel so we can continue doing these things if you like what you see. Today we're going to be working on the RS3, specifically fabricating parts, which we really haven't done before. And I guess it's more or less like an internal secret. If you follow us on Instagram, you follow me on Instagram, you know I've been practicing with TIG welding and MIG welding for a few weeks now. Definitely not a pro by any stroke and still very much a noob, but the reason why we've picked up welding, mostly MIG and TIG, is to break our way of reliance from a lot of outside shops that just take forever. I mean, whether it's Euro, American, JDM, shops just take months for some of the most simple stuff. And I get it. They get busy. There's big time projects involved. I get it. Good for them. God bless them. Keep rocking and rolling, guys. But there's a lot of people like ourselves that get left out in the wind when we're told, 2 weeks for something ends up being 12 months. So in the effort to continue to break ourselves away from outside shops in terms of, relying on them or needing anything from them, we've picked up MIG and TIG welding. Specifically today, we're going to be TIG welding. We're going to need to make which is unconventional more or less, but we're gonna be making a intake tubing that's gonna go to the carbon box for integrated engineering. I think I'm gonna do that out of stainless pie cuts. It's not gonna be forever stainless. I think I'm gonna make a mold out of it, make like a carbon fiber tube, but for now we're gonna mock something up in stainless 5-inch tubing. It's massive. Wait till you guys see it. And we're gonna have to make a downpipe here and then something for the wastegate. And we're gonna have to figure out whether or not that downpipe is gonna fit. I think we have enough room for 4-inch, especially with some 15-degree or maybe 45 or 90-degree pie cuts. I think we can make that happen. But if we can't, we will have to remove this and cut this off and relocate the gate. I don't want to, as having the gate there is gonna give me the availability to remove, add springs whenever I want to without having to get underneath the car. Again, the whole point of the VR6 swap, even in the B5, is to make things easier, make it cheaper, make it more affordable, more accessible. So, the gate's gonna be on top, and I'm hoping it's gonna stay that way as long as we can get everything to fit up. Let me show you, or at least follow along as I put a lot of this stuff together, attempt to tack and weld. And again, this is some of my first time doing this stuff, and we're gonna keep practicing, and we can only get better from here, right? For those of you guys that do weld, those of you guys that are professionally inclined with some of this stuff, feel free to leave something in the comments below or email us if you have any tips and tricks, anything. We've been binging on YouTube videos and advice from friends in terms of what we're supposed to do, the equipment we're supposed to get. So please, we're open-minded, we're always learning. Put it in the comments below and let us know what you think we should get for some of the materials that we use here in my garage. And that's it. Let's start off with the downpipe. We'll get some, I'm hoping we can keep the downpipe. I'm hoping we can keep that gate location. So wish me luck. Let's start working on the downpipe. I did my first seam. This is gonna be around the 4-inch V-band flange. It's gonna go to the turbo. As you can see, again, I'm still learning with a lot of this stuff. Here, let me see if I can get a light to kind of help this out a little bit. See how much I suck. But again, you can see just hand positioning where I stopped and stopped, but start and stopped, I'm sorry, and where it's kind of angled, where it's not. Again, getting more comfortable with laying this stuff. I think my color is good. I think temperature is okay. I think I've gotten that down pat pretty much. But it's getting there, guys. Flange is completely welded all the way around. I'm gonna let her cool. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump to the other side and start seam welding this stuff, and going over some of the mistakes, and I'll show you guys some of the areas where I blew through on tacks. And again, I'm still learning with a lot of this stuff. My silicone plugs that I ordered for purge welding, for the purge process, for argon, they're late. They were supposed to be here yesterday. It looks like it's gonna be here Tuesday, thanks to 2020 being a dumpster fire. So I ended up just opting using a lot of this stuff. So I was just using a lot of tin foil, as I found on the internet. It seems to work really well, so we'll see what it does for the inside of the tube.
You're not fooling me, not fooling anyone. Got your head in
So we seam welded the first section of the downpipe. Stay. We seam welded the first section of the downpipe, even repaired all the sections that we blew through on tacks, as I kind of showed before we started welding. There was a couple holes that we had to fill, a couple little thick areas, but this is my first stainless piece of exhaust tubing that I've ever made or seam welded. And this is all using stainless 4-inch pie cuts. I kind of varied between 15, or was it 45 and 90 degree pie cuts. And you can kind of see it kind of has like a small little twist to it. Again, my silicone purge kit didn't arrive yet for the couplers, so I made these pretty much out of aluminum foil and then stuffed them. It didn't do the best job in terms of purging, but it was better than nothing. So I know this thing ain't gonna fall off, at least knock on stainless steel or steel. But pretty much got it. Lot to learn when doing this stuff. I definitely realized that it's a lot harder than it seems, but had I not been practicing for this amount of time, I probably wouldn't have been able to get this done. So kind of happy. And let's throw it on. Let's see what it looks like seam welded with the V-band hooked up to the back of the turbo, and then we can start taking a look at what the intake tubing is going to look like and what we're going to be using 5-inch pie cuts for that. And we'll get into why I'm using pie cuts and stainless for the intake. But for now, let's just throw on the downpipe and see where this goes. So the downpipe is on, and that actually looks pretty cool. Look at all those pie cuts. Let me tell you, very tedious, like I was saying before. And that gate is going to be facing in. I think I'm going to have to plumb it somewhere into that downpipe. So that's where I'm thinking it's going to go. Now for the intake tubing, now that we got the downpipe pretty much sorted just on the bend radius initially, to really finish that downpipe, I need to yank the motor and trans, which is only held on by 4 bolts, install the, crap, I'm forgetting what this is called again, transfer case. And then just so I know what kind of clearances I have to deal with underneath as soon as it wraps underneath the manifold. But the hardest part, I think we got it cleared, is next to the frame and pretty much the backside, which we're going to reroute a lot of these fuel lines. In fact, this is just a little too small. We're going to have to yank that out of there anyway. But as for the intake tubing, we need to make something that's going to be pretty massive, 5-inch. That's going to go up, over, around, and then into the intake box. I may not keep it stainless the entire time. I may use it to make like a carbon fiber mold or something. But we're going to make it just like we did on the downpipe. Pie cuts 5-inch for the turbo on the inlet to reuse the intake integrated engineering carbon box, which is pretty cool. So yeah, let's get started on that. I got a bunch of 5-inch pie cuts that I ended up picking up from a couple of different places. And I think enough to pretty much make it so this way it just kind of sits in this intake. Kind of cool making our own shit. It is very hard. Takes a lot of patience. Can't just rush it. Something that I'm learning right now, for those of you guys that are also learning to weld out there, especially TIG welding, especially stainless, do not rush it. Otherwise you will pay for it and have to redo it. I ended up picking up a bunch of extra 4-inch pie cuts anyway, just to make sure I didn't mess up this downpipe. If I did, I could remake it. But I think overall, I think that looks great. I think the color is just right from what I'm seeing in the examples online. You know, everything you see on the internet is awesome. So hopefully I don't have any issues with that. And I also bought 1.75-inch pie cuts for the wastegate so we can route it into the exhaust. So I'm kind of really excited to do that and see how I do it in terms of getting the flex on there. But let's make the intake. Let's make the 5-inch inlet for the turbo for the G42 1450, which is massive, 79mm turbo. We're gonna have to modify that outlet too, cut it, put a 90 on it so the boost pressure comes out, goes into the intercooler, comes back around, then back in, then into the throttle body. So we're gonna run all this piping on the same side. It's gonna look pretty cool. It's gonna be pretty much hidden underneath this box. The only thing you're gonna see is this massive 5-inch tube that's gonna go here, and then maybe some intercooler piping depending on the, coolant lines, oil lines, everything else, the thermostat housing that's here. We're gonna make it all work together. It's gonna be pretty cool. So let's continue on. Let's make the 5-inch turbo inlet, so to speak, the intake, and let's pie cut it up. I basically got the 5-inch tubing all tacked up. Blew through a couple little holes as I was tacking. Again, that's something that still need to perfect. Fitment is pretty okay. I got it pretty close, I think. There might be a couple areas where we might need to add a little bit more filler rod, but that's where I was having issues with the tacking, and I have to get better at that. So probably a lot more research and practice I'm going to need to kind of perfect this process. But that's it right there. These massive 5-inch tubing, and I want to seam weld it, then throw it on there and show you guys what it looks like fully installed. So we're going to start seam welding this piece by piece. I'm going to do one, skip one, skip one, skip one, skip one, skip one across, flip it over, do the same, then let it sit. I got a little fan blower there to kind of put some air here to kind of cool everything down, and then we'll slowly repair those little holes in there, add a little filler, and kind of clean that up. But got the purge pretty much set up. Bunch of, again, Reynolds wrap, aluminum foil as the silicone plugs that I ordered haven't come in yet, so I don't want to wait and waste another weekend, so I just want to progress on and start making a lot of this stuff so we can get this car together and ready for when the built motor is actually put together and we can swap it out and start making some jams. So I want to be productive as we can, as much as we can. So I'm going to start again. Seam, skip, seam, repair the holes, skip, and then flip over. So let's see what happens. So the clip of me putting all the pie cuts together for some reason was corrupted. Wouldn't play on GoPro, unfortunately. But here's me seam welding to the best of my ability. I did blow through a couple sections, and I had to repair. One ended up being pretty large. But again, I'm not a professional, nor am I in the position to teach anyone when it comes to welding. I'm learning by just YouTube, looking online, watching videos, and trying to replicate that in my garage. So please don't copy anything you see there. Again, still learning. I'm probably doing everything wrong in this video, and if I'm doing something wrong, please let me know in the comments below. But here's me seam welding the 5-inch pie cut intake for the turbo as I put this thing together. I did about 80% of it, and I just want to see what it looked like in the car, so enjoy. So pretty much finished about 80-85% of it. I'm going to call it a night, but I want to see what it looks like on the car as we got fitment pretty close. About 80, like I said, 80-85% of all the seams that I have to get done, and there was instances where I blew through, had to fix it up, had to readjust. Definitely learned a ton by doing this piece in terms of comfortability and kind of heat control. And man, this is only 16 gauge, so I blew through it pretty easily in a couple places, but was able to repair it. But let's get it on the car and let's kind of see what it looks like. As I'm dying to see how massive this thing looks like in the bay. It's on, and you kind of see that little lump. She clears that brake reservoir, and she actually looks pretty good. Again, I didn't seam her all the way, so there's going to be some little edges you see there without some weld joints, but she's pretty much 85% complete. And I was just dying to see what she would look like, especially with the the goldish heat treatment / decoloration that she gets, especially the downpipe, the manifold. Now pretty much they all match. And again, for those that are saying, stainless, it's the bad choice for intake tubing, it's going to heat soak. You guys are right, 100% right. Stainless, metal, anything out of the aluminum will heat soak a lot faster. But it's a challenge. I wanted to learn TIG welding. I have been learning for the past month or so, and it was something that I could make here, and it cost me about $90 in pie cuts and argon gas and filler rod to practice, learn more, which I did. I learned a ton today doing this stuff and what not to do and what I need to start doing a lot better, such as heat control. If I don't feel comfortable and for some reason my hand doesn't travel as well while I'm, moving the torch over the weld metal, to just stop, not to just keep going. It's okay to just stop, clean up, and then just go again. So learned a lot today, and we're going to be doing a lot more of this stuff on the channel moving forward. Again, practicing, experimenting, seeing what we can make, but I'm pretty sure if we can make downpipes and intake tubing, maybe we can give it a shot and make some intercooler pipes too. And again, completely break away from the reliance on outside shops in terms of fabrication. So really looking forward to see how a lot of this stuff kind of performs and looks and kind of works out and holds up over time. We do have to get the motor out, install the transfer case, which I told you in the beginning of the episode, that's there on the floor. Install the transfer case, install the drive shaft, install the axles, and get this car as if she's gonna fire up and ready with the mock-up motor. So this way we can fab up the rest of the downpipe going under, make sure we have the right clearances, make sure the dump tube is good to go going down, the intercooler piping coming across. So right now there's no coolant lines, there's nothing. The thermostat housing's not even in the back on this mock-up motor. In fact, it's just a basic mock-up junkyard motor. So well, we have to start putting her together as if she's going to run. So this way we can get everything sorted. Again, I want to do AN lines going from the radiator going to the motor. I want AN lines for the vacuum fittings and vacuum lines to the wastegate. I want to give this car every chance of success and eliminate as many opportunities as failures, so, for silicone hoses, ripping or tearing or melting, coolant lines coming off the car, or failing or anything like that. I want to have brand new AN lines for the coolant lines going from the motor back and forth to the radiator, and then also to the turbos. But it does look pretty badass. I might just leave it on there and just call it a day. Let me know what you think about the comments below. Let me know. What are your thoughts? Do you like it? Does it look like shit? And again, it's my first time putting something together like this. And to be honest, and I'm not going to get too cocky here, I mean, I've seen people charging for stuff that looks worse than this stuff. So, I don't know. I like this, and I'm going to be making a lot more of this stuff here moving forward on the channel, on Stav's car, on my cars, on future projects. So let me know what you think in the comments below of this little initiative to kind of make our own parts. But I'm going to leave you with this, guys. RS3 update. Downpipe and intake tubing ready. Now we got to yank the motor to get everything kind of fitted so we can get all the lines and all the goodies kind of fabricated. And that's it. Oh, for those that were curious about the welder, again, it's a Vulcan ProTig 205 running a Furic gas lens. And then I ended up picking up a CK Worldwide Flex Head, which has been awesome. It's been super lightweight, like I said in the beginning of the episode. And don't mind, again, the aluminum foil plug ports for the purge setup that we have. So I ended up picking up another bottle just so we can kind of have purge and then get some really clean welds on the backside of those tubes. But that's it, guys. I'm going to continue seaming this within the next day or two. And then Stav's ship box is going to get back into the garage. He's going to get his head back from the machine shop. We're going to get his car back together. And then I'll keep pushing on this car as parts trickle in. But the goal is sometime the end of December, beginning of January, firing and rolling around at least, making some noises. I don't know. This is so cool. VR6 swap, Audi RS3, right here on this channel. It's going to be cool. It's going to be sick. See you guys in the next episode. I appreciate you guys watching. Again, if you liked the episode, hit the like button. It really does help us in terms of the algorithm on YouTube. Does help us do more videos like this. And if you happen to like it, just let us know by hitting that like button or shooting a comment down below. It helps more than you think, believe it or not. Other than that, guys, I'm George. This is Malaka Motorsports. I will catch you on the next episode as we're bolting together Stav's ship box and putting it together, trying to make some more boost and get it back on the dyno. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one.